Alright, as promised, this is an overview of the Masterbuilt 560 Gravity Series charcoal smoker. I was going to kind of give you a walk around of it, an overview of it, and then we'll talk a little bit more in depth about lighting and loading and things like that in another video. But to start off with, this is kind of the outside of it. As you can see, I've got a Green Mountain Grill Daniel Boone series right beside it here, so you can kind of compare the size of the two. The Masterbuilt is definitely a lot taller than the Daniel Boone, but the Daniel Boone I think is a little bit wider, especially when you consider the shelf on the side there. From a width perspective or depth perspective, they're about the same. The Daniel Boone is a little bit wider than the Masterbuilt, so the Masterbuilt's just a little bit more narrow in depth. The Masterbuilt is a pretty heavy grill. I would say when you compare the Daniel Boone to it, the Daniel Boone might be a little bit heavier, but overall I think they are pretty comparable in weight. The Masterbuilt does have this lower shelf, which is something that I like quite a bit. It's big enough to put a couple bags of charcoal, maybe even some wood lump. It does have casters on the bottom that lock. It has wheels on the other side, very similar to the traditional pellet smokers that you see. The side shelf does have the control panel on it. It also has some tool hooks. You can use this as kind of a handle to lift up on it. I've been doing that. I haven't noticed any flexing or moving with it. It has a stainless steel fascia on it. Matches the stainless steel right here that has the logo embossed on it. The charcoal hopper is here to the right. Opens from the top. Has a gasket that goes around the outside. Charcoal is fed into here. The charcoal hopper will hold an entire bag of traditional charcoal and about 2/3 of a bag of lump charcoal. Your firebox is down here. Your firebox is where all your ash goes as well. So as you're burning throughout the cook, your ash will come into here. No need to clean it out throughout the cook. Just leave it in there. It will hold more than enough charcoal to do a 12 to 16 hour cook in ash. If you're using lump charcoal, I've found that there's a lot less ash than there is if you use traditional just briquettes. These are the dampers that open up the airflow to the firebox as well as the actual grill itself. This one opens up the airflow to the grill. This one opens up the airflow to the firebox. When you're actually cooking, you remove these completely and just set them aside. They do have holes in them where you can hang them on the side of the grill if you like. The charcoal hopper does have a heat shield around it to keep you from burning yourself. The control panel is right here. The control panel does have 4 inputs for your meat probes. The Masterbuilt 560 does come with 1 meat probe. You can buy additional meat probes from Masterbuilt. They look to be pretty similar to the ones that are on the Traegers, so you may even be able to just use the Traeger ones if you have them today. This is a Wi-Fi enabled grill as well as Bluetooth. In comparison to this grill, which is just Wi-Fi, if you're away from your home or you don't get good Wi-Fi signal outside of your home, this grill's Wi-Fi features are pretty much useless. But with this one, even if you don't get good cell reception, or not cell reception, but Wi-Fi signal in your backyard or front yard, you can still rely on the Bluetooth functionality and be able to control the grill from your phone using the Masterbuilt app. One thing I will notice about this grill, it does not have a hopper sensor, so that was one really nice feature with the Green Mountain. If the pellets start to get really low, you'll get a notification on your phone or some kind of warning signal to tell you that, hey, you need to add some pellets. This one is not that way. You have to check on it from time to time to make sure that you're not running out. You can control the temperature of the grill using the Wi-Fi and app from Masterbuilt. You can set up profiles, view your meat temperature, view your grill temperature, and that's pretty much the typical nowadays with these Wi-Fi enabled grills. Moving on to the inside of this grill, it does have removable shelves, so depending on how you want to cook, you can put 2 shelves up top, you can put both shelves on the bottom, or you can just take them out altogether. I've been leaving them in. It's kind of nice to have the extra space for warming up stuff. The grill grates do have the smoke and sear feature, so the smoke side of the grill grates are up. If you flip them over, they have searing plates on the bottom. This grill will go up to 700 degrees, so if you want to sear some steaks, you can do that. If you want to smoke low and slow, you can take this thing down to, I believe, 160 is the minimum temperature. The manifold is down below there. This heat manifold has outlets that basically blow the heat out kind of consistently across the grill. I choose to wrap my manifold in aluminum foil just for easier cleanup. You don't have to do that, that's just something I like to do to make it always look clean on the inside. I don't like a greasy mess of a grill. As far as cleaning this grill, it's pretty simple. I would say a lot simpler than cleaning something like that, where you have to pull all that out, remove the manifold, vacuum out the bucket, put it all back, wrap it in foil. It's kind of just a mess. With this, you have a grease bucket right here, which you can pull out, empty out all the grease from the grill. You can line this in aluminum foil. I haven't been. I've used this grill about 5 times at this point for varying cooks, and it cleans up really easy. I think this is coated in some kind of oil or something that makes it non-stick and very easy to clean up. When you're ready to clean up the bottom of the grill, you can slide this catch tray right out. It's pretty simple. I do have this lined with aluminum foil also to make it easier to clean up. When you're done, you just slide it back in. That does come out completely. With this just fits into a grooved slot here. Just slides in and clicks. So that's pretty well the overview. When you're ready to clean out your ash, this is very simple. As a porcelain coated bucket, you just remove this, dump your ash out, and then just slide your bucket back in here, and that is all there is to it. And lock this down. This is also the area where you light the grill, which we'll go into in another video. That is pretty well an overview of the grill. It does have a temperature gauge here, but it doesn't have any numbers on it, so it's kind of useless. I have been using an oven thermometer to verify the temperature on the control panel for the last 4 or 5 cooks that I've done, and I've noticed that it's pretty well dead on with the control panel, so I'll probably quit messing with that and just rely on the control panel going forward. This grill does not have a smokestack. It has the newer style vent in the back that most of them new grills like the Traeger and the Louisiana grill are going to nowadays. I will say that it does provide for very consistent temperatures all the way across. One of the things things I forgot to mention in my last video was around kind of some of the things that I didn't think were great from a quality perspective on this grill. The first thing is just an overall, the metal on this grill is pretty thin. If you look at this, it's not super thick. You can tell that it's thinner gauge steel. One of the things that I will say that they are using to compensate for that is they are double walling this, so that provides a lot more insulation without adding a ton of weight, and it helps it firm it up a bit. They've used pop rivets to put this thing together, which I'm sure are fine, but that might be something that you'll have to address if they start wallering out or coming out. You can always redo those. The sides are made of the same material, a little thicker gauge steel on the side compared to the door. The grates are super thick, very heavy duty cast iron grates. The side shelf is a little bit thin material. Let's see if we can get a good shot of that. Tell it's just not quite as thick as, say, your Daniel Boone over here that uses much heavier gauge steel. So that is the biggest knock on this grill. It's just, it would be great if they could make this out of a little heavier material. I'm sure it's fine. I haven't had any problems with it holding temperature or anything like that, but it just seems as though, it just doesn't feel like it's as heavy duty as maybe the Traeger's. The only other knock I have on this grill is up here in the loading gate or loading door. It has a rubber gasket that goes around it. And I've been noticing on the last few cooks that this rubber gasket has been sticking to this surface here. I'm not sure if I can just get some silicone and maybe coat this with a light coat of silicone, or maybe even just the gasket itself to prevent that. But that's just something else I noticed. Not a showstopper, not anything that I think you can't live with, but just something to be aware of. The bottom shelf is a heavy-duty shelf. I would have no worries about this thing ever failing. It seems to be able to hold a couple bags of charcoal without bending or anything like that. The legs are, a fairly thick leg, so really the only area I think that has a thinner gauge steel is in the lid here, and maybe the main cooking chamber here. Another thing to note, I did notice that this has a removable plug here, so you can put a rotisserie on it, which is kind of a nice feature. If you ever want to do rotisserie chickens, you just mount that on the side here, click it in, turn it on, and you can rotisserie chickens in here, ribs, or whatever you like to do, or even fish. So, pretty great features. Overall, very pleased with this grill. Definitely a big upgrade from my Green Mountain, which I've been very happy with over the years, but I just don't know I'll use it now that I have this one.